Welcome to the Connected Leaders Academy virtual conference designed to reshape your vision of transformation. As we navigate the evolving business landscape, our speakers will unveil innovative strategies to manage and initiate change. Prepare to adapt, innovate, and lead, ensuring your role as a catalyst in this transformative era.
Well, hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Today, we're going to talk about a topic that's near and dear to my heart. We're going to talk about how to build a brand that sticks. A brand, it's not just a logo, a website, or even a business card. If that were the case, heck, I'd slap a Nike swoosh sign on my forehead and call me a star athlete. But trust me, that would not make me one. My name is Jason Zygadlo, and I'm the founder of Build Your Own Brand, a business that helps people boost confidence and build credibility in their professional lives. First, I want to start by thanking the Connected Leaders Academy for having me here today on a panel filled with such wonderful and gifted speakers. I'm truly inspired by all of you. Additionally, I want to thank everyone who helped put on today's amazing leadership conference. On behalf of all of the speakers, we are grateful. And to the speakers that I've listened to already today, several of which have been amazing already, thank you so much. I'm honored to share in this amazing day with you. So what is the definition of a brand? Well, according to Webster's dictionary, wait a second, are those even still in existence? How about according to Google, Alexa, or Siri? A brand has a few different definitions. One is a name, a symbol, a design, or other feature that distinguishes a product or service from others. We're all pretty familiar with that definition, I would imagine. Other sources define it as something that distinguishes a good, a service, or individual from another. Again, pretty similar to the first. But I want to challenge you to think about a brand as something beyond a mark or a symbol. For an individual, a brand is what you do and how you do it. And even more than that, a brand should be thought of as how you make people feel. Because effective brands elicit a feeling or emotion. I mean, think about it. Think about Nike. You don't just think of the swoosh mark. Well, maybe some of you do and define that as a brand. But instead, you think of empowerment, determination, achievement, almost like anything's possible. That is what I want you to come away with from today's presentation. Thinking differently about what a brand is and how it elicits emotion that people remember and that sticks with them. So what's our roadmap for today? We're going to talk about several things. One, why branding matters. Two, how great brands are built. Three, how to build your own brand. Four, how to strengthen your brand. And then finally, practical strategies to enhance your brand's visibility. So first, why branding matters. We all know Amazon. We all know Jeff Bezos. A quote that he said was this: "Your brand is what other people say about you when you're not in the room." Again, eliciting that emotion that I referenced earlier. Branding is about perception, trust, and building emotional connection. Think about it. When you hear iPhone, do you just think of a phone? Probably not. You think of maybe status, perhaps simplicity, or even innovation. That's branding at work. A quick stat I want to share with you is according to a Nielsen study, 59% of consumers prefer to buy new products from brands they already recognize. I think that's pretty powerful information right there. In fact, I'll give you an example. I was in the market for a new laptop recently and I went to Best Buy. I found the associate in the laptop section and he's showing me all sorts of different laptops, some on sale, some brands I'd never even heard of. And all I kept thinking about the whole time was all of the companies I worked for in the past all provided me with a Dell laptop. I had this impression already before I got to the store that Dell is the workhorse laptop that I was going to buy, even though the salesman was talking to me about some other brands and some that were on sale and had all sorts of different features. I walked out of the store with a Dell. The same can be true for individuals. It's not just about products. You can have a brand that causes people to remember you more than others. So let's talk about a story that puts this into context. New Coca-Cola versus Coca-Cola Classic. How many of you all love Coca-Cola? Well, in 1985, Coca-Cola changed its formula thinking that it would improve sales. They wanted to create a new Coke, one that was a little sweeter and a little less carbonated. People revolted because they weren't just drinking soda, they were drinking nostalgia. Coke had a brand that people associated with sitting on the back porch on a nice hot summer day. And they wanted that exact same Coca-Cola they had the week prior and prior to that and prior to that. So what did Coke do? In less than a month, they changed its formulation back to the original. It brought people back to that nostalgic feeling that they craved. So what is the lesson learned from this story? A brand is bigger than just a product. It's an experience. We want you as an individual to be more than just your name. We want people to associate a feeling with you. We want them to remember meeting you. A way I like to think about branding is it's kind of like dating. If you change who you are every single time you meet someone new, no one will trust you. If Coca-Cola can mess this up, imagine what happens when you send mixed signals about your personal or business brand. Branding and being consistent matters. Next, I'd like to transition to the second topic, how great brands are built. And I'm going to give you 3 components of every brand. First, they have a clear identity. Every good brand understands its target audience, so it has a defined identity that people remember. An example of this, Harley-Davidson. Harley-Davidson doesn't sell just motorcycles. They sell American freedom, rebellion, and individuality. They have a deep connection with riders on an emotional level through its long heritage, iconic design, and strong community building practices, essentially selling a lifestyle beyond just motorcycles alone. In fact, Harley-Davidson has created such a loyal following that identifies strongly with the brand's core value. Let me ask you, how many times have you driven down a highway or driven past a bar and you see motorcycle after motorcycle that's a Harley-Davidson? And not only are these customers riding Harleys, they're in Harley shirts, they're in Harley helmets, they wear Harley leather jackets, they scream Harley. So as you leave this presentation today, ask yourself, if your brand were a person, what kind of personality would it have? How can you stand out like Harley-Davidson and attract a loyal following? The second key to a powerful brand is that they are consistently memorable. There's that word again. Consistency is key. You do not want people to forget your brand, or it's not an effective one. Let me give you another example to think about. McDonald's. We all know McDonald's. McDonald's golden arches, they can be recognized from a mile away. It's a simple brand and it's easily recognizable and universally understood by people all over the world. People don't just think golden arches, they think quality and service. They think Big Mac and fries. People feel confident in the food they're going to receive when they walk into a McDonald's anywhere in the world. That right there is a powerful brand. But imagine this. Imagine if every McDonald's had a different logo, different colors, and a different menu. You'd walk in expecting that same Big Mac and fries and maybe leave with a plate of sushi, confused and questioning reality. Consistency is key in being understood across various cultures and populations. And third, a great brand stands for something bigger. A clear identity and being consistent, that's huge. But even more important is that your brand stands for something bigger, especially in today's day and age. Why? Because it creates a deeper connection with customers by aligning the brand with a meaningful purpose or social value. This creates loyalty and trust, which leads to higher customer engagement and standing out from competition. I'm going to give you another example. Patagonia. Patagonia doesn't just sell jackets. They sell environmental activism. They stand for protecting the environment and promoting sustainable practices. Customers, they don't just buy from them, they buy into them. And there are millions of other companies that people could buy from. But people choose Patagonia because it's good quality products and it doesn't harm the environment. And people want to do good, so they sell a brand that helps them accomplish that. The key takeaway here is a brand that stands for something beyond profit creates lifelong customers. So, how do you put this into action? Next, I want to talk about how to build your own brand. I will give you some actionable steps to build that brand. First and foremost, you must define who you are. What are your core values? What are your skills? What are your passions? A practical tip here might be to write down 3 or so words that define you or your business professionally. And if you can't think of anything or nothing comes to mind, don't be afraid to ask colleagues or current customers. There's no better way to understand who you are more than to asking others and getting their feedback. After you define yourself next, you need to define your target audience. This is key. And both of those are key, and together they will help you create in defining your own unique value proposition. So I want to challenge each of you with an exercise. Ask yourself, in one sentence, what makes you or your business different? What makes you stand out? How do people remember you or their experience with your business? What emotions do people associate with you? By now, you can probably tell I love examples. So as you think about that, think about this example. Tesla's unique value proposition. It's not just about selling electric cars, right? It's bigger than that. It's about accelerating the world's transition to sustainable energy. That's Tesla's unique value proposition. So what's yours? Use those three words created earlier that we talked about to determine what they all have in common. What is the bigger picture that you're driving at? And after you identify your unique value proposition, build your story. Think of an example where perhaps you had a great pitch, or you closed a big deal, or had a large order. And what was it that made that experience so great? Then use that story to further define your unique value proposition. So, how did one company create a unique value proposition? Let's think back in time a little bit. I'm hoping you all remember the Dollar Shave Club and their viral ad. The Dollar Shave Club, they were formed by two guys who were frustrated with expensive razors, a frustration that many men share. In fact, I subscribed when the Dollar Shave Club came out to the Dollar Shave Club because I was intrigued by their messaging. Their goal was pretty simple. When they formed the company, it was to offer convenient and affordable razors through a subscription model. But what made their brand huge and known to almost everyone? They spent $4,500 on a video. Very simple video, not a lot of money, and it turned that company into a $1 billion brand because it was funny, it was relatable, and it was different. And I don't know if all of you remember their tagline, but it was this: "Our blades are effing great." It was simple, it was memorable, and it was uniquely them. The takeaway here: brands that tell great stories not only win hearts, they win wallets. The final key to building a great brand is being authentic and transparent. So how can you establish a genuine connection with your audience? Think about that for a little bit. It's about being true to your values, which we discussed earlier. Another example, we all know Wendy's, the fast food restaurant. Wendy's and how they interacted on Twitter, or X nowadays, and how they would roast their competition and engage with customers in a way that felt so real and human. I'm not sure if any of you remember some of those posts that they made. They were hysterical. But the takeaway here is this: today's customers, they value authenticity now more than ever. And there's nothing more important that people appreciate than being authentic. In fact, I would make the argument that's why there's been such a growth in reality TV. The next section is how individuals or businesses can strengthen their own brand and get the messaging out there. First, they must be consistently visible. And whether that's on LinkedIn, Facebook, any sort of social media, networking events, consistency is key. And that same word keeps popping up: being consistent, consistent, consistent. The one thing that I've done in my own business is every Thursday, we post something called Thankful Thursday. In fact, people look forward to it now, and they're excited to see that post, and they expect it. Each post looks the same, and its goal is always similar: to show our partners and clients how thankful we are to be working with them. Another example of this is a friend of mine posts on Mondays about leadership. People now have branded him and call him the Monday morning leadership guy. That's branding. Also, you want to share your expertise, whether that's through blogging, creating videos, giving talks, establishing yourself as an authority in your respective field. You can post videos and share quick tips. One thing I like to do is use personalization to stand out. In fact, I send personalized videos instead of standard follow-up emails. And the response I've received has been astronomical. My engagement through these types of videos, because they're unique, intentional, and memorable, and they stand out, my engagement has went through the roof. And finally, the last section is practical strategies to enhance your brand's visibility. Using the power of networking in building meaning relationships, not just contacts. Attending industry events and providing value and sharing your brand and your story. Bringing business cards, but also bringing value. Telling stories, things that people remember and stand out. We talked a little bit already about social media, keeping your LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, your website, all your platforms aligned and consistent with your brand. You want to post valuable content and engage in discussions and posts and be consistent. For those of you that are not business owners, focusing on your individual brand by being memorable. Maybe that's in interviews or meetings, and not just talking about your skills, but sharing stories that is behind your brand. So I want to reiterate a key message here. A strong brand isn't about a logo or a slogan. It's about emotion. It's about trust and identities that you create. Many of you may know Simon Sinek, great leader, all over social media, written great books. He has a quote that says this: people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. So I'm going to challenge the audience here. I want you all to define your brand in one clear sentence and ask yourself, if your brand were to disappear tomorrow, would anyone even notice? And if the answer is no, it's time to start working on building a brand that matters. The power of memorable brands is priceless. I think we all would agree. We're in a very busy time these days. Attention is the new currency. We must figure out a way to break out of the sea of sameness and build a brand that helps you stand out above the noise. You've got to figure out a way to be different, be memorable. The one way I did that when I was a salesman selling medical devices, I didn't want to be just another sales professional. I wanted to be a guy that provided value, but be someone that people remembered.
Thank you for participating in today's enlightening session. As we transition to our next expert, remember that each strategy and insight is a step toward becoming a transformative leader in your field. Visit connectedleadersacademy.com to stay engaged and informed. The journey of change is ongoing. Let's move forward together.